You won't believe this. Today we're going to talk about a princess and a knight's romantic story that will surely make you laugh and enjoy. One day, Herbert was riding by the beach when a rival rider appeared, seemingly the Superman of riding in North Africa, unwilling to let anyone pass. So they had either side. With compromise, the horses collided, hurling both into the water like a TV drum scene. But their duel wasn't over. Herbert drew his knife, only to find a stunning face under the robes, turning the fight into a romance. Under sunset, the knight and princess attracted each other in modern romance. One glance sealed their lifelong partnership as love associates. Before this, the princess was chosen by a neighboring chieftain. Learning his fiancé loved another, he arrived like in a real-life love heist. The princess wasn't a damsel in distress, sworn to fight for love. But that night, Herbert stormed in solo, challenging 20 gods like a hero from a movie, creating an adrenaline pump. Halfway through the story, Uncle awoke, furious, demanding to leave against advice. Staff saw him roar like a lion. Naturally, no one dared provoke him. When relatives reached the hospital, they discovered Uncle had already seized authority and checked out. Their good plan was already rejected. Once again, the couple felt utterly disappointed, like they'd been stood up. Meanwhile, the youngsters were happily indulging in steak dinners at the restaurant, living their best lives. At this time, some youngsters entered, mischievously taunting Uncle. He thought, this is Walter's first glimpse of Uncle's superpower. However, these young hoodlums weren't willing to admit defeat either. They made their appearance and, despite having just been discharged from the hospital, still attempted to stir up trouble. This former North African warrior was not to be underestimated, brimming with confidence in his heart, believing he could send those novices sprawling on the ground with just a single punch. The young men were up against Uncle's powerful aura, feeling like little insects facing an elephant, utterly helpless. He even had time to grab a bear. Clearly Uncle was a superhero in his youth, showing no mercy in a fight. But Uncle had a good heart, taking the youngsters' regrets home and nursing their wounds. After all, they wouldn't be able to face their parents otherwise. This time, Uncle's parents were already waiting at home. Like a scene from a TV drama, the atmosphere was indescribably dull. Walter then realized he had not fed the lion all day, ran to the den in panic, but found it had vanished. Turns out it was two little troublemakers from a relative's house who destroyed the lion's den while the adults were bickering in the restaurant, leaving everyone laughing and crying. Subsequently, Lion Molly fled to a nearby cornfield. Learning the truth, everyone acted. In the cornfield, they discovered Molly was just playing with her little owner, like they were at an animal carnival. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, but the relatives were still on edge, declaring they wouldn't return unless the lion was chased away. Upon hearing this, the siblings felt like they had hit the jackpot, immediately granting the lion a lifetime pass, while the relatives could only leave in disgrace. Uncle decided to accommodate the lion in the cornfield, as it felt like home to it. In the evening, Uncle began training the youngsters, teaching them how to grow in. Uncle too resumed telling Walter stories, sharing how after Uncle Herbert rescued the princess, they enjoyed a happy, peaceful life. But that fierce chieftain was not going to back. He offered 10,000 gold coins for Herbert's head, refusing to give up. One day, Herbert was kidnapped by an assassin and taken to the chieftain's palace, and the guy smoothly pocketed the gold. What the greedy rascal! Yet the assassin was Uncle too in disguise, and together they effortlessly dealt with all the guards in the palace, completely flipping the house rules. Next, Herbert walked into the chieftain's room for a showdown, but instead of killing him, they opted for a real duel. The Pampa chieftain was no match for Herbert, and after just a few rounds of fighting, the outcome was clear. Although Herbert could have easily taken him out for good, he chose to spare the chieftain's life, truly acting with mercy. Afterwards, the chieftain never sent the assassins after Herbert again. Some claim it was out of fear of retaliation, others out of gratitude. Actually, it was due to new oil discoveries in his territory. The chieftain was so occupied with making a fortune that he had no time to deal with the vendettas in his circle, and he sought to become one of the 5 wealthiest individuals globally. What's a true winner in life? As for the store's ending, let Walter inquire about it himself from the parties involved. That night, when Uncle went sleepwalking again, Walter grew bold, wrapping him in a blanket and daringly waking him. To his luck, Uncle didn't get mad, giving Walter a golden opportunity to ask about the ending, talk about a pie falling from the sky. Uncle left with a slightly puzzled back. The bitterness inside surged like a tide, indicating that the story's ending was a matter of soul. At this point, the story didn't end well, nor did love's beauty last forever. Uncle returned to the army. After 40 years of battling, Uncle finally returned to the homeland, his hair white, but Walter began to question the truth of the story. Raised on his mother's lies, he struggled to tell real from fake. His great-uncle said truth didn't matter, but what you believed did. People often pursue honor, courage, and righteousness. Power and money are like twin siblings, remember that. True love will never fade away. Whether these stories are true or false, everyone should believe in the beauty of these ideals. While the plots may not be fully authentic, righteousness, honor, courage, and love within are eternally worthy of our pursuit. Walter experienced growth and vowed to stay with Uncle until he became a real man. The family bond under the moonlight felt like a gentle breeze, warming their promises as harvest season approached. Seeds sown before bore bake, sweet fruits, the family ate corn for a month and bought a new fishing boat. They were no longer satisfied with earthly pleasures and were now seeking aerial adventures when Walter was drawn by noises outside. He saw his second eldest uncle walk alone to the old cabin, mysteriously lift a board, crawl gleefully into a hidden spot, and pull out the wad of cash.